I'm not finished with you! I'm not finished with you!
Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 28 of Season 2 NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Doritos 500 here at Bermuda Superspeedway as we're getting set for 30 laps of racing here at this brand new restrictor plate track located in the Bermuda Triangle. So this is going to be a unique race, to say the least, and it's a triangular 6-turn restrictor plate racetrack. But before we look at the starting lineup of the race, let's take a look and see how the points look coming into the race tonight. Chris Michaels lost a big chunk of his points lead, but he still leads by 32 points over David Rivera, 46 over Dorian Facepuncher, 47 over Nelson Thornhill, and 51 over Rafael Leduc. Rest of the top 10, 6th is Austin LaPlante, 7th Seth Cole, 8th Nathaniel Reed, 9th Emmanuel Hardnett, 10th DJ Curtis. Rest of the top 20 is Joshua Sekuli, JT Bryant, Anthony McCurry, Jesse King, Kev Shear, Dylan Thoreau, Grayson Acevedo, Matt Haas, Benjamin Miles, and Dylan Young. So that is how the top 20 in the standings are coming into the race tonight. Let's take a look at the lineup. Starting in the last row, we have Sean Galligan and Anthony McCurry in the last row. As my phone went off on me. So with that being said, let's take a look at the top 10 in the lineup. Starting on the front row, PJ Williams is on the pole for the race tonight, and starting next to him is his teammate, Joshua Sekuli. Then the second row is Dorian Facepuncher Trent Dunham. Row 3, Jesse King and Andrew Rich. Row 4, Jessica Sheldon, Matt Haas. And then row 5, David Rivera and Johnny Gardner. So with that said, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Doritos 500 at Bermuda. The Bermuda Triangle Superspeedway.
Drivers, start your engines!
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As we're getting set for our one pace lap around the racetrack before we get this party started. All 42 cars pulling out to get this race started for all you people here on the YouTube. So a lot of different things going on coming into the race tonight. We still got an interesting fight for the points lead between the top 5, Michaels, Rivera, Facepuncher, Thornhill, and Leduc. And also a slight interesting battle in the top 30 in points, and I almost forgot a little note. I lost the picture file of the Go or Go Homers qualifying results, but who all is in the field that are Go or Go Homers you will know from watching the video, so that way you know whoever was Go or Go Homers made it in, like PJ Williams, for example, Andrew Rich, so on and so forth. But speaking of the top 30 in points, you got an interesting fight for that 30th spot between a couple people. I believe it's Johnny Gardner and Jonathan Zorlien that are fighting for 30th in points, which will be crucial for Season 3, because when we get to the start of Season 3, the first 5 races, the guys who are in the top 30 in points, or the highest 30 drivers this season that are returning for Season 3, will be locked into the first 5 races for Season 3. So drivers who are on the outside looking in are trying to do their best to impress in order to get into that top 30. Or be among the highest 30 that are coming back for Season 3. I know PJ Williams is one of them, but he could be on the outside looking into that. But the pace car has pulled in the pit road, which means it's time to boogity, 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 let's go racing. And just as we completed lap number 1, we have the big one, and a couple of the top 5 in points were involved. Raphael LeDuc just slammed into Austin LaPlante. Points leader Chris Michaels got involved. I see Anthony McCurry on pit road. Tim Fiegel's damaged. Johnny Gardner was in it. Seth Cole. Sean Galligan. Phil Parker was involved. Dylan Poteet got a piece of it. Same with Zachary Fitzwater. And there's was a little bit of a stack-up effect, it looked like, going down one of the straightaways. Charles Jackson's got damage. It even looks like JT Bryant even had some damage as well. But the big one has already struck here in the early going of this race. So this is going to take out quite a lot of drivers, but let's go ahead and take a look at a replay of what brought the caution out for the first time tonight here at the Bermuda Triangle Superspeedway. Well, here's a look at what happened, and it looks like it's going to be contact right there between Zachary Fitzwater and Johnny Gardner, and they come down into Dylan Poteet and Phil Parker and get into Kev Shear, and that turns Austin LaPlante around, and then you saw Seth Cole make contact. There's where Raphael LeDuc gets involved. Look at the job that the 78 of Nelson Thornhill does to miss all of this carnage. So, great job. Although a secondary wreck happened, I think as a result of LaPlante and Fitzwater spinning, they collect Chris Dollarton. There you see Fiegel, McCurry, Michaels, Galligan get involved. But Nelson Thornhill, let's take a look and see how he got through this. He sees the smoke of the spinning cars up ahead. Looks like he's about to run into the back of 2 cars, and they move out of his way in time, and the 78 barely gets on by, but Raphael LeDuc actually took a couple of big hits in this crash. Actually went up on 4 wheels at one point. Let's see how the 99 gets involved. Right there, contact from Seth Cole after he made contact with Dylan Poteet, and then a big hit from McCurry, and there was a big hit from Tim Fiegel, and there's where Chris Michaels and Sean Galligan gets involved. All of them make contact, so that was 2 out of the top 5 in points. Both of them teammates, 1st and 5th in points, Michaels and LeDuc. So LeDuc, I think for sure, is going to be out of the race. Michaels, he may be able to, right there after that hit into LaPlante, that sent LaPlante for a small barrel roll. I think that pretty much sealed the deal for LeDuc not to run the rest of the race. And then Michaels, he may be able to try and finish because he didn't get very many hits in the front end except for that from Tim Fiegel, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to really slow him down very much. I think he still will be off the pace because he did get hit quite a bit in that crash, but now let's try and pinpoint what happened between the 23, 48, and 91. I think it was after Phil Parker and the 91 of Fitzwater made contact, and LaPlante comes back up into traffic, and then Fitzwater comes up and gets into the 48, and they come down into Chris Dollarton. I felt like if Fitzwater didn't try and collect the 48, I think the 48 could have gone through with just a spin and just some flat-spotted tires, and he could have maybe come back to win this thing, but after that contact with the 91, and then right here, the hit into the right side from LeDuc that sent him for a barrel roll, that may have ended it for the 48 for the most part. But let's go back one last time and look at how the wreck started before we go to the restart. So watch the 91 and the 15 up high as they're going to make contact. The 91 turns the 15 down into the 31 and the 4, and then comes up into the 12, down into the 48, starting this whole chain reaction. And then a lot of cars get damaged and taken out of the race. Particularly the big ones that we're been mainly concerned with is the 2 drivers in the top 5 in points that were involved, Raphael LeDuc and Chris Michaels, as they got some damage, especially the 99. But with that said, let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at the Bermuda Triangle Superspeedway. Well, only 10 cars are out of the race after that big one, and a couple of cars that weren't, I didn't see get involved, I think got into a pile-up, or not a pile-up, but a stack-up, slowing down for the caution, which would explain why a couple of these guys are out. But the guys who are out include Kev Shearer, Anthony McCurry, Austin LaPlante, Charles Jackson, Preston Blord, Seth Cole, Tim Fiegel, Rafael LeDuc, and Sean Galligan. But we still got 33 cars left on the lead lap and on track. Some pit stops happened, so the field may be shuffled a little bit, but the leader hasn't changed. Dorian Facepuncher still your leader. Second is Jonathan Zorline. Third is David Rivera. Fourth is Matt Haas. Fifth is Trent Dunham. Sixth is Mark Lane. Seventh is Chris Dollarton. Eighth is Angel Alvera. Ninth, Charles Sanford. 10th, James Qualls. 11th is Andrew Rich. 12th is Nelson Thornhill. 13th, Jessica Shelton. 14th, Dylan Young. 15th, Dougie Shears. 16th, Nathaniel Reed. 17th, Benjamin Miles. 18th, Joshua Collard. 19th, Reed Rowden. 20th, Matt McIntyre. And the rest of the cars left on track are Emmanuel Hartnett, Grayson Acevedo, Dylan Thoreau, Phil Parker, DJ Curtis, JT Bryant, Zachary Fitzwater, Johnny Gardner, PJ Williams, Joshua Cooley, Jesse King, Dylan Poteet, Chris Michaels. Green flag is back out here at the Bermuda Triangle Superspeedway for the Doritos 500, and a lead change. Jonathan Zorline goes to the front, at least for the time being, as we still got 25 laps to go in this event. And now a battle going on for second between two of the top 5 in points. David Rivera going underneath Facepuncher and takes a spot, and also here comes Matt Haas. And this pack's sort of been separating a little bit, I think, because a couple of cars in between a small group were all slightly off the pace, and actually another caution is out. That could explain it. And who was involved? It looks like only a couple cars. Grayson Acevedo and Trent Dunham. I guess that would explain why it was so separated. Oh, and Fitzwater nearly got turned by PJ Williams, and he saved it and didn't hit anything. What a job by the 91. So we get our second caution, and it looked like it was for a 2-car incident between the 1 and the 55. But Jonathan Zorline is your leader, so let's go ahead and take a look at a replay of what brought the caution out for the second time tonight here at Bermuda. So I guess how this incident starts, it starts from this restart. Trent Dunham, I guess he must have been off the pace because he was super, super slow on this restart, and he's going to end up making contact with a couple of cars. It looks like right there, Trent tries to get in line in front of the 38, but was not clear, and ends up collecting the 55, the 38, and the 20. So Hartnett, Dunham, Acevedo, and Rowden all get involved in there. Grayson Acevedo is going to make a little bit of contact with the inside wall, just a little kiss into the wall, but yeah, I don't know what Trent Dunham was thinking of trying to get down in front of the 38 when he was slow on that restart. I don't know if he had a missing gear or he had damage from a stack up under caution, the previous caution. I'm not entirely sure, but don't know what Trent Dunham was thinking there. But let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Bermuda. Well, after that last caution, no other cars were out of the race. All the 33 that were left after that first caution are still running, so no worries there. But pit stops happened again, and we got another new leader, and that's Charles Sanford in the 03. He's in the lead. Second is Jonathan Zorline. Third is David Rivera. Fourth, Matt Haas. Fifth is Nelson Thornhill. Sixth is Joshua Collard. Seventh is Dougie Shears. Eighth is Chris Michaels. Somehow Chris Michaels could be on a comeback route after being involved in that first caution. Ninth is Phil Parker. 10th is Nathaniel Reed. 11th is Chris Dollarton. 12th is Mark Lane. 13th, James Qualls. 14th, Matt McIntyre. 15th, Dylan Poteet. 16th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 17th, Dylan Young. 18th, Benjamin Miles. 19th, Angel Alvera. 20th, Reed Rowden. 21st is DJ Curtis. 22nd, Joshua Cooley. 23rd, Dylan Thoreau. Early leader, Dorian Facepuncher, is all the way back in 24th. 25th, is Jesse King. 26th, Jessica Sheldon. 27th, JT Bryant. 28th is, actually Andrew Rich is 27th. 28th, JT Bryant. 29th is Zachary Fitzwater. 30th is Grayson Ace Veto. 31st, Johnny Gardner. 32nd, Trent Dunham. And then 33rd is PJ Williams, who was the pole setter early on. As we're getting set to go back to green flag racing with 20 laps to go, we still got a long way to go. Hopefully we can get a green flag run this time after all. There's already a couple moves happening. Looks like Haas is going to go underneath Rivera and Collard going to go underneath Thornhill for position, as well as Parker underneath of Michaels. But it doesn't look like anybody went really slow on a restart here. Looks like everybody is going to be fine. So yeah, I guess Trent Dunham really was off the pace, or not up to speed. And look at a couple tandems going on. We got two of the Furniture Row Furniture Row racing cars working together in tandem. Matt Haas and Nelson Thornhill working the high line. Collard stuck in the middle, but now you're getting a freight train on the bottom led by Dougie Shears. And how about Phil Parker? Phil Parker was involved in that big one early on lap 1. He's found himself back up here for battling for the lead, down low with help from Nathaniel Reed in the 88. And keep in mind, this is the last season that Stewart-Haas Racing will be affiliated with Hendrick Motorsports, as next season Stewart-Haas will be moving to Ford. And oh man, 4 wide, this is going to be risky because this is not as narrow, it's very narrow of a track to do 4 wide. But if they can keep it together, I guess they can try. And I just noticed Phil Parker actually has a slight buckle on his hood, but he ain't off the pace. He's still able to keep up. Imagine if he won this race with that buckled up hood. That would be impressive. But right now, Nathaniel Reed leads the way here at Bermuda, here in the Doritos 500. Although they are very close together, almost settling it out. Is bowed 4 wide for the second spot, with teammates trying to work together to get up to a higher spot. Nelson Thornhill and Matt Haas trying to work together, and Haas is in danger right now on the bottom of 4 wide, as they are trying to settle it out, but it's just really, really intense up here. But they are managing to keep it together. But now it's 3 wide for lead, 2 of them teammates, but Matt Haas is going to be the one to try and take the position. David Rivera is in a dangerous spot in like one of the 2 middle cars of that 4 wide fight. But Matt Haas leads the way here at Bermuda, as we're seeing quite a bit of fighting, intense fighting for position up here among the top 15 or so. As I'm looking around to see who all is still within reach of the pack, and most of the cars are still right there with the leaders. It's just they need to get into a formation to make sure they can get into the pack fully. But you can tell they're all together. It's just there's like a couple of separation spots among certain cars. As up here at the front, teammates trying to pull away from the field, although there goes that strategy, because now Nelson Thornhill is going to try and go by for the lead underneath Matt Haas. After all, Thornhill is one of the top 5 in points. He's trying to get as much points as he can to get up to the points lead, potentially. But then again, you got Chris Michaels still on track, still on the lead lap among this group of cars. So who knows what can happen. But Thornhill has the lead for now, but here comes Matt McIntyre with a full head of steam on the bottom. Matt Haas trying to get the high line to work, but man, if he would have come down and blocked the 24, that could have been a great move. But he didn't do it that time, but he still is going to lead for now. But now Joshua Sakuli has got to run to the bottom with help from Jesse King, Phil Parker, David Rivera's Dougie Shears on the apron. Can he keep it together? It looks like he does. So good job on the 83 to avoid disaster right there. Dorian Face Puncher trying to rebound after a mishap on pit road, it looks like, because he's got a donut on the driver's side of his car. They are a little bit behind the 22. If they could somehow get together to catch up to the 22, they may have a chance to boost guys like Andrew Rich, Jessica Sheldon, among others, to get up to this lead pack to fight for the lead. Speaking of the lead, it has now changed over to Jesse King in the 51, but Phil Parker is trying to get back into the mix again. David Rivera, who's second in points coming into tonight, he's trying to get to the lead as well. And I still can't believe Phil Parker's still able to be competitive with that messed up front end of his car. It still shocks me that he's still running up to speed with these guys. And it looks like Face Puncher's group has completely lost touch with the guys ahead of him. And then it looks like this pack's going to end out with DJ Curtis, who was last scored in 17th. So we got about 17 cars up here on the in the main pack fighting for the win, potentially. But Jesse King has that top position for now. Matt McIntyre in second, but Matt Haas, he's been strong ever since the restart. Excuse me. Ever since the restart, he's been a competitive young man up here. Of course, Matt Haas won. I think he won a race earlier this season, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, he hasn't. I'm actually surprised. But Matt Haas may have a chance to win this here tonight as he's up here at the front. He wishes his teammate Nelson Thornhill was up here to help him get to the front. And the caution is out again. Oh, and it looks like a bad accident for James Qualls as he was stuck. Looks like it might have just been a single car incident, but caution going to come out once again. PJ Williams actually on pit road. I think we were coming close to green flag pit stop, so I think this caution was a good thing for everybody up here at the front, so now they can top off on fuel and get fresh tires for the end of this run. So there might have been some relief in sight for these leaders. But Matt McIntyre somehow, someway gets the lead. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at a replay of what brought the caution out for the third time tonight here at Bermuda. This has got to be one of the most bizarre wrecks I've ever seen. James Qualls pulls off the pack. Looks like he's slowing down to try to get the pit road, but he doesn't slow up enough. And right there, catches the end of that pit wall, hit unbelievably hard, and that pretty much destroyed his car. Let's look at this again and watch up on top, in the top middle of your screen, the miles per hour rating. He's slowing down to try to get to pit road, realizes he's not slowed down enough, but by that point he could not turn back up to the racetrack, and his car was just sent for a ride right into the edge of that wall. That is one of the worst wrecks you could ever have at a racetrack that has an open-walled pit road like that. That is very, very hard. 163 miles an hour, pretty much head-on into those barrels and into that wall. And as a result, James Qualls is basically done for the rest of the race. So tough break for that number 70 car for Retro Racing Enterprises. But let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Bermuda. Well, after that last caution, only one car retired out of the race, and that was James Qualls. So tough break for the 70. But some pit strategy going on right now is actually some cars decide to pit at different times to try and see if they can outdo each other in terms of gas. But Matt Haas is your race leader. Second is PJ Williams. Third is Dougie Shears. Fourth is Nathaniel Reed. Fifth is Joshua Collard. Sixth is Nelson Thornhill. Seventh, Benjamin Miles. Eighth, Chris Michaels. Ninth, Dylan Young. 10th, Grayson Ace Veto. Or actually, no, I guess Jesse King was scored, but he's fallen back. So actually, 10th is Grayson Ace Veto. 11th is Charles Sanford. 12th is Reed Rowden. 13th is Chris Dollarton. 14th, Dylan Poteet. 15th, Phil Parker. 16th, Mark Lane. 17th, David Rivera. 18th, Johnny Gardner. 19th, Angel Alvera. 20th, Jonathan Zorline. 21st is Joshua Sekuli. 22nd, Trent Dunham. 23rd, Matt McIntyre. 24th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 25th, JT Bryant. 26th, DJ Curtis. 27th, Zachary Fitzwater. 28th, Dorian Facepuncher. 29th is, actually no, Dylan Thoreau. Then 29th, Dorian Facepuncher. 30th, Andrew Rich. 31st, Jesse King. 32nd, Jessica Sheldon. It's going to be 8 laps to go here at Bermuda. So hopefully we can finish out strong and hope for a memorable finish. And the green flag is back out. So the 3 remaining drivers in the top 5 in points that are still on track are in the top 20. But anything can happen. Chris Michaels somehow going to try and pull off a comeback after getting in the big one earlier. Nelson Thornhill trying to gain as much ground as he can for the time being. But now we got this big shuffle going on for the lead, and Matt Haas running a tad bit slower, and I think it was because he was running up high. Same with PJ. But now Nathaniel Reed has taken the top spot with Collard behind him, and here comes Thornhill. Thornhill, who won a couple weeks ago, I believe, at, I can't remember, it was 2 races ago. I think it might have been Darlington? Or no, it was California. He won at California a couple weeks ago, so he's trying to get another win, get his 3rd win of the season, and he's pulling out down low underneath of Collard, or at least trying to, and there's a big, big gap that separates the 78 back to the 83 and everyone else, and now Rivera trying to get in the top 10, and Chris Michaels continuing to fall back as the field is starting to separate into little groups. You got a 3-car group up here, then you got a car separating the lead group along with everybody else. But Nathaniel Reed still leads as it's 6 to go here at Bermuda. And Nelson Thornhill's trying to get underneath Collard, and I think he may have it. I think he does. He's going to make the move work underneath the 43 of Joshua Collard for 2nd. If he can get clear of him by the time they get out of turn 4, he could maybe get to the back bumper of the 88 and try and go for a move. But the 88, he's got a bit of a gap right now. But then again, the 78 has got a full head of speed, or a full head of steam, I should say, trying to get up there, as he's the highest of the top 5 in the point standings running. Rivera trying to get through to get more positions. I believe Rivera will now be in the 6th position, and I don't know where Chris Michaels is at. There he is, last scored 17th, and the caution is out again. And he was last scored in 17th, and I don't know if we'll be able to get back to racing or not. And I think we just had a big wreck ensue between Zorline, Curtis, and Facepuncher, it looks like. But I think they're going to race it back to the line, or actually are they slowing down? No, they are racing back. These guys who made it past the start-finish line before the caution was out are racing back, so this could be the fight for the win. Collard has got to run on the inside, but Thornhill has got to run to the outside. This could be it for the win. Thornhill gets to the line first. That could be the win because we're now at 4 to go. I don't think they'll be able to get back to green flag racing in time for a 1-lap shootout unless they rush it really quickly. But that might have just been the win right there. As now everybody else is trying to get caught up in time to get to the leaders. But that might have just been the ending for the race right there. But let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the 4th and final time here at Bermuda. So this incident looks similar to what happened between Fitzwater and Gardner earlier. It looks like Curtis turns up into the 5, and look at that. The 5 gets airborne for a split second, but comes back down and luckily doesn't get a whole lot of damage. I think he just barely kisses the wall as he slides up, so he got basically very minimal damage, probably just from that kiss. But then the 62 of Dorian Face Puncher, yeah, he gets collected right there from Curtis, and Curtis even almost flipped. And then right there, Face Puncher actually hit pretty hard on the driver's side into the outside wall, and there is no safer barrier right there. That is a concrete wall, so that was a pretty hard hit for the 62. But somehow the 3 were able to drive away and keep going, but that was enough to throw the caution. But let's actually go and take a look at this fight for possibly the win between the 78 and the 43 in case we don't get to go back racing. And it looked like the draft from the 88 is what's going to help the 78 pull ahead, and the 88 tries to help the 43 out the last second and maybe try to go for the spot himself. But just with a little bit of a run right there, the 78 off the high side beats Joshua Collard by what looks like, let's see on the ticker, once it updates itself, I think he barely beat the 43 by about, 0.05 of a second, so that was pretty close. But anyways, let's take you to probably the end of the race here at Bermuda. Well, the race is official. They got across the start-finish line right as I was trying to find the point, but the race is official. Nelson Thornhill wins the Doritos 500 at the Bermuda Triangle Superspeedway in the inaugural race here at Bermuda. And what a job by the 78 with that dramatic battle coming to the caution with Joshua Collard. Manages to outbeat the 43 to get that win. But let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the results. Joshua Collard was so close to winning that race, but comes through with a great run in second. Highest finishing rookie was Nathaniel Reed with a great run in third. Solid 4th place finish for Dougie Shears, and then a great 5th place finish for Chris Dollarton. Great run in the 6th position for Dylan Young. Solid 7th place finish for David Rivera, so he may be able to gain, I think he'll gain at least 10 points on the points lead, depending on where Chris Michaels ended up. Reed Ralden with a great run in 8th, solid run in 9th for Mark Lane, and then a great run in 10th for PJ Williams. Rest of the top 20 include Matt Haas, Grayson Acevedo, Phil Parker, Matt McIntyre, Benjamin Miles, Charles Sanford, Chris Michaels, Dylan Poteet, Joshua Sekuli, Jesse King. Rest of the top 30 include Andrew Rich, Angel Alvera, Jessica Shelton, Dylan Thoreau, Emmanuel Hartnett, JT Bryant, Zachary Fitzwater, Johnny Gardner, Trent Dunham, Jonathan Zorling, and then the final 2 cars that finished were DJ Curtis and Dorian Face Puncher. Everybody else was out of the race after the chaos, and they include James Qualls, Kev Shearer, Anthony McCurry, Austin LaPlante, Austin LaPlante, then Charles Jackson, Preston Blord, Seth Cole, Tim Fiegel, Rafael Leduc, and Sean Gallagher. So that does it for our coverage here tonight here at the Bermuda Triangle Superspeedway for the Doritos 500. Next week we head back to Arizona Speedway for the Desertland 500. But until then, here are your results, rookie points, and regular points heading into Arizona. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.